take your time and back that up, put it here and discuss it before we change our, without animal and follow it. You have a copy on the second copy.
Proposed amendments to certain animals at large prohibited ordinance. Section 3-1, certain animals at large prohibited. It shall be unlawful for any. It shall be unlawful for any dogs, cats, horses, mules, cattle, jacks, jennies, sheep, hog, poultry, or goats to run wrong or be at large or on any of the public highways, commons, or lanes, either public or private, other than lands of the owners of such animals within the limits of the parish of East Feliciana. The penalty for violation, the owner of any such animal who shall suffer or permit same to be at large in violation of this article may be fined not more than $500 or imprisoned for not more than 30 days. Or both.
Before we took a minute, they had cash free, cash free dollars. Because so many cats running free, causing so many problems, having for people. So they want to add a law to prohibit these cats and everything from doing so much chaos for other people. We're taking public input.
Who wanted to add
You just invited public input.
There's public input. This is what it's the whole, we're all talking about former jurors, add cats or what.
I have a question,
Yes,
please,
ma'am.
before we start. If you guys are gonna vote later, most of the jury's not even gonna hear public comment.
Now we have five that are coming, so we can propose this.
Thank you.
We got five here.
Public comment is for 3 minutes.
Hello, my name is Jan Leonard. I was a resident of Leonard. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Is that better? Sorry, thank you. Hello, my name is Jan Leonard. As a resident of Clinton, I oppose the amendment. Section 3.1 was codified in the year 1969. That's 55 years ago. It was amended in 2022 to add poultry. I think we can all agree our parish and the world is a far different place than in 1969. Even worse, Article 2 dogs was codified in 1944. That's 80 years ago, 1 year after World War II ended. A lot has changed since then. It's obvious these ordinances are outdated. Adding cats and dogs is ineffective, but more importantly, does nothing to solve the stray, feral cat and dog issues and the suffering of these animals for the last 20 years I've lived in Clinton. None of us are experts in all subjects. It's assumed that on some issues, our elected officials are not experts and get advice from or seek expert advice and testimony. The same is true of our jury. Rather than knee-jerk reaction, I again propose we form a committee of at least one citizen from each district. The committee will reach out to their district and include the differing views from residents for input. The committee will also reach out for expert testimony and best practices. Why would you not welcome input from your constituents who put you in office? I again propose we also implement TNR and spay-neuter programs. This is a common sense approach. We're surrounded by parishes who have successfully implemented TNR and spay-neuter programs. There's no reason we can't do the same to benefit our communities. TNR has been practiced for decades. These programs cost the parish absolutely nothing. As a matter of fact, implementing would open up opportunities for grants that we currently don't qualify for. In February, I invited each jury member to accompany me at your convenience on a TNR trap in each one of your districts. Not one of you has responded. Why would you not welcome the opportunity to speak and meet with your constituents and receive their input as well as gain knowledge of the TNR process? I've collected newspaper clippings since 2008 where residents have pleaded with the jury to put in place humane, common sense animal control. Did you start while he was fixing my microphone?
I started when you went up to the podium.
Okay, well, I was interrupted because my mic wasn't on. I just had one more paragraph.
But you need to turn your mic on. You always remind us.
I don't know how to turn the mic on, Miss O'Quinn.
Go ahead and finish your presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Kent. I collected newspaper clippings since 2008 where residents have pleaded with the jury to put in place humane common sense animal control, Don't you think it's high time the jury listens? We simply can't continue with outdated 55-plus-year-old ordinances and expect improvement to the status quo. Our communities and the animals they care for deserve better from our elected officials. Thank you.
Mr. Bishop Court, you and I have discussed this matter a number of times, haven't we? You and I. We have discussed it a number of times, haven't we? You and I, we discussed this, right? It's on my own. You and I discussed this matter a number of times, right?
Yes.
Actually, right before you here.
Yeah, and one of the problems is there's no distinction between pet dogs and cats and stray dog and stray feral cats. There has to be a distinct, some of those animals are owned, the others are not. And we have a problem with people dumping animals in our parish. I've got dogs right now in Ethel that are partly feral that nobody can catch. A dog with puppies. They've been running around the lakes for weeks.
Well, Mr. Howard, you go ahead and take your attention.
Mr. Hall, you get 3 minutes too.
Good afternoon, Judge. Thanks for your time. This is true. I brought this to the jury. I had one of the constituents when I was a police juror have a complaint. This ordinance is not about feral cats and dogs at all. This is about a resident having a problem with cats that are owned by somebody. Everybody knows who owns them, everybody knows, but he cannot pick up the phone and call the police and say, I have a problem, can y'all come take care of it? their response was, there's no law that covers cats, at-large cats, not feral cats, not anything of that nature. So what I did is when I was asked, y'all know I started this, getting the ball rolling. Just so somebody could pick up the phone and say, I have cats in my yard, they don't belong to me, they belong to my neighbor. I talked to the person about, you know, getting them under control and nothing's happened. So that's why I brought this up. Has nothing to do with
Feral
spaying, neutering cats or anything. I agree with you 1,000%. That is totally separate. I mean, if somebody wants to start a feral cat ordinance, I get that. But this is just no different than our cows. We have a livestock manager, cows at large, they get picked up. This just gives the citizens of the parish, pick up the phone, call somebody and say, I got a dog, you know, growling at me or whatnot, the police can actually do something.
And you'll have a little work, you'll have a law in place.
That's it. That is it. So, I'm hoping you guys will look at the citizens of the parish and say, you know, it's their right to have property, to not have animals on it, and form an ordinance that gives them the opportunity to call the police to have a nuisance problem dealt with. The legal way.
That's the purpose we had dogs, cats in the yard.
Yes, sir.
None of this feral cats, anything.
No, absolutely not. This is just so, if a dog comes in my yard or a cat comes in my yard, I can call and say, hey guys. And it's not basically a cat coming in your yard, it's a cat scratching up a $60,000-$70,000 vehicle. You know, using your flower bed as a litter box.
Did you
You
see
know,
that?
those kind of things. You know, it's that.
Thank you, Mr. Hall.
Thank y'all for your time.
Any more public comment, please come to the mic and state your name, please.
Hi, my name is Vicki Riggle. I live in Jackson, and I've been a dog rescuer now for over 30 years, and know people in this room that can attest to how many dogs have come through my hands and found homes. I agree wholeheartedly with everything that was said. We need a shelter, we need trap and release, we need some tools to manage this problem. Desperately need them. But I also have a question. If one of my dogs, who's loved, cared for, and always wears identification, gets picked up because they managed to get out of my fenced yard, am I immediately subject to a $500 fine and or imprisonment? Do I get a warning? I mean, is it?
It says up to.
Yes, ma'am, it does say that. It does say up to. But I'm just a little concerned because have I had dogs escape my yard? You betcha. And all my dogs wear a collar that has my telephone number on a brass plaque and blazing on, they can't get off. They can't lose a tag. And I've had people call me because I offer a reward. If my dogs are picked up and found, I offer a reward for them to be returned to me. So I wholeheartedly support any of these other efforts that are being talked about and hope to be involved in getting some of them in place. But in the meantime, I just want to raise this issue too. No matter how conscientious you are, no matter how hard you try, you get an escape artist at your house, they're gonna find a way under or over
Well,
a
I think
fence.
we did say something about.
Warning.
About warning. This wouldn't just happen the first time it happened. If it continues to happen, if it continues to happen.
It's not written
Then
there.
this is coming.
Yes, sir, but that's not written in the ordinance. That's why I wanted to raise the point, because it isn't
And
written.
I understand what you're saying. You're right.
Yeah, that there's any leeway there. And I'm just concerned about it, because I don't want my dogs out either, but it happens. It does not. Thank you.
But we don't want to point the simplest place. We want an avenue to protect the land on our side. If the dog escapes, no, but we can call the dog escape.
Okay,
We'll amend all this, include that.
thank you.
Yes, sir, please come to the mic and state your name, please.
Hi, I'm Lori Darisburg with Northside Humane Society, and I've been in business since 2008. Rescued dogs, cats, kittens, puppies, probably in the thousands. Just day before yesterday, I trapped a feral puppy on Highway 10 in Jackson. 3 people pulled over, you know, almost caused a wreck, but I had a trap with me, thank God, and I was able to get the puppy, so I'm gonna get it fixed, find it a home, which is what I normally do. I'm hoping we can get a group together that can address the problem. If there is a problem at someone's house, if our group can go and talk to the person and offer some alternatives instead of their animals running it loose and going on to other people's property. Because there's different options, you know, I mean, people don't know. If they don't know what to do with their animal, you know, it's just gonna continue to happen. If you send someone out that's gonna just remove the 1 cat or 2 cats and 1 dog, there's still dogs and cats left behind that's gonna reproduce and continue the problem. So, we would like to get all the animals on the property fixed and a solution at the same time.
I think the public misunderstand what the dog is all about. It's about someone else's dog getting on someone else's property. It's not concerning feral cats or feral dogs. If people leave, if your horse get out, the police can pick them up and call a person. If you don't respond, then there's a citation to them. No, it's not about feral cats, it's not about feral dogs.
Well, on pets too, you know, we'd like to go and talk to the people and offer alternatives, like if somebody has a cat problem, people can offer to build them a catio to keep their cats contained instead of them roaming loose.
I think, we're not discussing feral cats, but it's a domesticated animal.
Well, then what are you considering feral? Just a cat that's outside?
Wow, it's outside.
Yeah. Because some people let their pets just roam outside in their
That,
pets.
those are the ones who try to deviate from going to other people's property.
Right.
That's the purpose of this ordinance. And if they have filed a complaint, the sheriff will have a leeway to issue a citation and call it.
Right.
We're not trying to punish people, no, man.
Okay.
But everybody has a right to do it.
Right. All right, thank you.
Let me ask you a question. And when you went out and you picked up, you probably saved that dog's life, okay, because it was on the road. But did you go to any of those houses around there, knock on the doors, and see if that dog belonged to anybody?
It was feral, so it didn't belong to
It didn't know
anybody.
you.
Huh?
It didn't know you.
No, you can tell a feral puppy from a pet puppy. This puppy had never had human contact. It cowered in the back of the carrier. And it was running from everybody. I mean, it was scared to death. And starving.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Ida Sharp and I live in Evelyn. And I totally understand the ordinance that has been proposed. And it's a little bit premature because where are you going to house my pet if he gets on a neighbor's property or say down the street? I don't think you have that. And do you have an expert that will be able to go and safely without harming my pet? Would you have an expert that is going to be able to apprehend that cat without hurting it? The other thing I would like to say is that you can't change the nature of an animal. If this was about birds, how are you going to change the nature of a bird that is outside, a pet bird? And there are a lot of people, I don't think they're here, but there are people with pet birds. You cannot change the nature of a cat. Ronnie and Vivian Anderson are my neighbors. They probably have as many cats as I have. Their cats visit my yard and vice versa. And we respect that this is the nature of a cat. Now, there is definitely a feral cat issue, and many of us end up with multiple cats because of that. But we know that what you're proposing, and like the lady said, this is an outdated ordinance that you are tacking a relative, something that is, there is a need in the cities, in the towns,
for something to be different. But I believe that the man who proposed this problem has a fish business at his home. So what is going to stop any cat from miles away from coming to his home? If he's running a fish business and these cats are gonna find it, whether they're feral or whether they're someone's pets. So this may have started as a personal issue and you realize that there is a problem. But this ordinance is ridiculous. It needs to be reworked. There needs to be an ordinance for cats and dogs and pets. You could add snakes on there. There are people with snakes and lizards, and I don't want them over at my house. But thank you.
Thank you for your comment. If I it on my property, long as it's someone else, I'm gonna call it for you. I'm a president. Any more public comment?
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to say that, you know, I've been a proponent of animal control from the beginning. So I think that, like these folks are saying, I think we need to kind of back up maybe and go to a committee and kind of figure this out so it fit all. And Miss Mary Reese here with the new animal line, she's here. I wish she would come up public comment, let everybody know what she's got going. And when she's up and running, and then you got a problem, the animals can go there, or if they gotta be picked up, they know they can go there. And like Ms. Sharp said, you know, she'd know that her cat or her dog is safe. So right now, you're putting it all in the hands of, you know, somebody that's just going to write a report or whatever. So I think that the folks here would agree that we just need to wait a little bit, get a committee or get a group, and let's get this worked out.
What we're doing is this moment, they're taking the course again,
Yeah.
no action is being taken at the present time.
Ms. Mary, would you come up?
Sure.
Tell us about your organization.
Good afternoon. I am Mary Reese with the Humane Society of the Felicianas. I'm going to be located right next to DCI on Highway 68. I have it's going to be an animal shelter. It's going to be for cats and dogs. And first of all, before we build any type of facility to house the cats and dogs, we are going to have a surgical center so we can spay and neuter our TNR cats. So we will have a place for them to go and be returned back to their colony. So they won't be released into a different colony. So I have a proposal for Senator Klein Peter that Ms. O'Brien has gladly helped us with in the past. I'm going to send him some quotes for some help with the animal surgical center, and after we get the facility up and running for the dogs to have intake, then they will also be spayed and neutered there for the shelter. It will not be a public neuter facility. It will strictly be for the shelter. So we will not be taking any of the business away from the local vets. It'll strictly be for the shelter. So, and hopefully we can get that up and running and start getting some of our cats mostly spayed and neutered and try to get it under control. I was hoping that within the next 5 years, we will have our cat problem under control with our new facility. So, does anyone have any questions?
That was gonna be my question. You're looking at 5 years before you.
No, I'm looking to build the facility now.
Will the money, the $75,000 that Klein Peter gave you, will that build a
No,
facility?
ma'am. No, ma'am. That particular money is going to the office building to be moved and have a slab put in, and the a sea can put in and a concrete poured for the sea can in the office and for the surgical suite. I already have the building for the surgical suite, so I'm asking him to help me through the state and
How long will that take
Which
before
one?
you get that up, the surgical stand?
Well, if I can get the money, it should be within just a couple of months. So, but after we get the surgical suite put in, then we will be, I'm hoping to get the cat population under control in the next 5 years. So the cat and dog situation, but right now our cat situation is dire. So we do have to get that under control. So, anyone else?
And I came to the groundbreaking ceremony when you broke ground for the facility, I was there.
Yeah, I remember you were there, yes, sir.
I'm a big on the full support of what you're doing. The materials are.
It's a slow process. It really is. But thank y'all very much.
Okay, so
Mr. Ken, I'd like to say that she's going above and beyond to get this going, and it is a slow process. But I want the public to understand that, you know, what, something is going on, it's just slow. But I'd also like to show on the jury that everybody, eventually, the jury is going to have to support this in some fashion. And whatever we can, we just don't have to. Because I've said this when I got to the jury 3 years or 4 years ago that was coming, and it's sooner or later, but it's now that we got to support it. Just like we support other little things. It'd be nice to give a lot of money, but we just got to give something eventually.
yes, sir. And to what you're saying, I think everybody at this table is just supporting it. I'll be looking according to what you're saying.
Well, can I put it on the agenda, next meeting, we're gonna give them $100,000?
No, you can't do that. You don't start doing that. But it won't come to comment on this matter. Thank you, Madam.
Good evening, my name is Carl Herrick, and my wife is Ida Sharp. And it's wonderful to see everybody here, and I proudly tell everybody I live in Apple, Louisiana. Because it's such a friendly place, and we're all neighbors. And I think that you can see the majority of folks here are just concerned about the way the ordinance is written and the speed of it. Do you mind if I ask you, Mr. Kent, do you have any pets? So you understand the love and care that goes into it.
I do.
We don't have any children living with us anymore at our age, but boy, those cats and dogs, and we've got 8 of them. I just spent them $20,000 to build a house for them. That's how much I love them. Okay, it's a catio. Come see it anytime you want. And there's 5 cats that live in there. And I can't imagine that there's too many folks that are overly concerned about the cats visiting and doing what they're going to do. Others don't go too far. The dogs don't go anywhere because we spent the extra money to have an electric fence put in and collars and everything else. And I certainly respect my neighbors and their investments in their property and their cars and all of that. I'll be happy to even assist if the committee is established to try to come up with what's equitable for everybody. But I was a bit shocked when I saw that it could be $500 and seemingly with no warning, and then possibly even go to jail. That would really, I'd run a business, it'd be kind of hard to run from you to jail. I've never done that before, don't plan on going anytime soon, especially over cats and dogs. So thank you for your willingness to address this issue, and I'm very confident that all of us are going to come up with a great solution so that it will be satisfactory to everybody. God bless.
And thank you for your comment. If not, going to close the public hearing at this moment and get ready for our regular program. All in favor?
I'd like to make a comment, but I don't know how easy I'm gonna do to get up there. Sir, I don't think you need to.
That-
Well, I don't know if it's
that-
forward,
that-
I don't have any problem speaking.
What's that, please? I close the public hearing, but we'll give you time to speak, yes, sir.
Please don't take this from my time.
Yeah, we'll get it ready. Yeah. Oh, no, go, oh, no,
Thank you, and please don't take offense that I don't face you all the time, because I can't bend that well. I think from listening particularly to the comments.
Please give us your name.
Oh, I'm sorry, Joe Wills. I live on 955 in Ethel. From listening to comments, and I would agree that the main problem with animals in the parish are the feral animals running loose. Unfortunately, we're a small, not a very dense populated parish with some very large cities to our south that tend to use us as a dumping ground. In fact, I've adopted a few dogs that have been dumped. The problem with this ordinance as it's written now, $500 dogs and cats, is it doesn't punish the irresponsible animal owners, the people that dump and the people that just let their dogs run wild. Because I guarantee you, once they are looking at down the barrel of a $500 fine, all these cats, nobody's going to know who owns them, and probably some of the dogs too. What it's punishing is the poor people who love their pets. I mean, a day doesn't go by, I don't look at the social media sites for Clinton and see pictures of beautiful young dogs that some little kids lost because it ran off in a thunderstorm or something. And really, even putting those ads in is an admission of a violation of this ordinance as it's currently written. And raising the fine to $500, the irresponsible ones, they ain't gonna know who that cat belongs to, or that dog that's running in your yard. I've never had it. I was really surprised at the problem with cats in the parish. I have some cats that come visit me from the neighbor, and actually I welcome. I consider it free mouse control on my fields. But I mean, I can see why some people, particularly maybe in some of the villages and all in our parish, it might be different. But I think tabling this and getting a committee to study it would probably be the right solution, because there is a problem. We all recognize there's a problem, but I don't think this ordinance is a solution to the problem. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Thank you, sir. We have motion to close the public hearing. I got 1 minute vote. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.